EasyStore and Shopify are two of the most popular platforms Malaysians are using to set up their e-commerce businesses. But which one is the best for your business? In this video, I'll compare the key differences between these two popular platforms and help you make a decision. Hi everyone, I'm Louis and welcome to a new video on Entrepreneur Campfire. In this video, I'll be comparing two of the most popular platforms Malaysians are using to set up their e-commerce businesses online, and that is EasyStore and Shopify. While both platforms allow users with no coding skills to easily set up their e-commerce businesses, there are key differences between these two platforms, which means that in some instances, it's better to set up your e-commerce store with EasyStore, and in other instances, it would be better to use Shopify. So what are these differences, and when is it a good time to use EasyStore, and when is it a good time to use Shopify instead? Let's find out. Before we get into that though, I just want to let you know that I've written a detailed article comparing EasyStore with Shopify on entrepreneurcampfire.com. If you want to take a look at that, please check out the link in the description below. Now, let's dive into the video. One of the biggest differences between EasyStore and Shopify is the price. It's also the first things that e-commerce entrepreneurs or business owners would look at when comparing these two platforms. When you look at the price alone, you can see that EasyStore is the cheaper one, starting at just 59 ringgit a month. It's about 2 times cheaper than Shopify's $29 a month, which goes up to about 130 ringgit to 140 ringgit a month. That's quite a significant amount of money if you're just starting out and have a lot of other expenses to pay. So, in terms of the price alone, EasyStore is the clear winner here. If you're on a budget, EasyStore's monthly pricing is definitely more palatable than Shopify's offer. Now that we've taken a look at pricing, let's dig a little deeper and take a look at the next area where EasyStore differs quite dramatically from Shopify, and that is themes. Themes are quite an important consideration because if you don't know how to design your own website, you'll be very dependent on the themes that are compatible with that platform to build a nice looking, credible and trustworthy site that your customers want to buy from. If you look at EasyStore's collection of themes, you'll find that it's very small and the designs are not very varied across different industries. If you're someone who doesn't really mind having a cookie cutter looking website, this is fine. But if you're very particular about your store design, I think you'll be quite disappointed with what EasyStore has to offer. Unless you're ready to spend some money paying a front-end developer to build a custom design for your EasyStore, then dealing with the theme design limitations inside EasyStore can get quite frustrating. On the other hand, if you take a look at Shopify's theme marketplace, there are a few hundred themes you can choose from. If you don't want to pay for themes, the free themes are pretty well designed as well. But if you're willing to fork out some money to pay for themes, you'll have a lot of premium themes on the Shopify marketplace to choose from. If you've looked through the entire marketplace catalog on Shopify and didn't find anything you like, you can always take a look at third-party themes on theme marketplaces like Theme Forest or even independent theme makers like Out of the Sandbox. On top of that, themes designed for Shopify are usually quite varied depending on the industry that you're working in as well as your product catalog size. So if you're very particular about theme design and you want to micromanage your theme, how your theme looks, how your site looks, then you'll be happy with what Shopify has to offer. The third area where EasyStore differs quite a bit from Shopify is in their app marketplaces. Both platforms have app marketplaces, and apps are a good way for you to extend the features of your store if you find that the features that you want are not available in the core feature set of that platform. If you take a look at the app marketplace on EasyStore, you'll find that it's a very small collection of apps. You have places to sell, customer service, orders and shipping, and so on. But what's missing here are those truly custom options, like perhaps adding a custom field, adding a date picker, things like that. If you're looking to set up a very customized store in terms of the features, you'll probably bump into a lot of limitations in EasyStore. If you want to customize your EasyStore, it's very likely that you'll need to hire a developer to help you. On the other hand, Shopify's app marketplace is a lot more extensive. You'll find a lot more different types of apps that can help you to extend the features of your store a lot more. Of course, you still need to pay for these apps, but at least you don't have to fork out a large sum upfront to pay a developer to build a feature just for you. So in terms of the app marketplace, Shopify is the clear winner here. So if you have a very customized requirement for your e-commerce site, it's very likely that Shopify will be a better fit for you compared to EasyStore. Now, let's take a look at the fourth area where EasyStore differs quite a lot from Shopify, and that is localization features. As you know, EasyStore is our homegrown e-commerce platform, and that means they understand Malaysian customers and Malaysian customer behaviors the best. That's one of the reasons why you'll find some very unique features inside EasyStore that you might struggle to find in Shopify. One of the most important localization feature that EasyStore has that Shopify still hasn't quite caught up with are the local marketplace integrations. Even though EasyStore has a much smaller app collection compared to Shopify, if you look for Malaysia-specific apps, you'll find that you have more of those in EasyStore compared to Shopify. If you take a look at this page on places to sell, you'll see that there's Presto Mall, Kumoten, Shopee, Lelong, etc. All of these are marketplaces that Malaysians love to buy from, and most e-commerce owners would want to sync with. Although there are options inside Shopify, I found that most of those options don't really meet the same standards as the sync provided inside EasyStore. So if you're a seller who wants a very strong integration with local marketplaces, EasyStore is definitely the better choice here. The next area of localization that EasyStore has an advantage over Shopify are in the shipping. Inside Shopify, you'll actually find that you don't have as many local shipping options. So you'll see that sometimes shipping options inside Shopify are not natively integrated, meaning they can get pretty unstable. But inside EasyStore, you actually find a lot of locally popular options such as JNT, Easy Parcel, DHL, eCommerce, and so on. So if you work with a lot of these logistics partners, then it's a lot easier to integrate them inside EasyStore. The third area of localization where EasyStore has an advantage over Shopify is in the sales channel. As you know, social commerce, which means buying on social media channels, are still quite popular around Malaysia and actually around Southeast Asia. So in EasyStore, you can actually use WhatsApp, Line, WeChat, Shopee, etc. to sell to your customers. But these integrations are not natively available in Shopify. While you can also set it up inside Shopify, it'll probably cost you some money to get there. So if your customers have always ordered from you through WhatsApp, for example, then EasyStore would provide a very easy, quick, ready-made solution for you already. So overall, in terms of localization, EasyStore is the clear winner here, hands down. So now that we've taken a look at how EasyStore can help Malaysian e-commerce business owners to sell locally, let's now try to answer the question of what if you're a Malaysian e-commerce business owner who doesn't only want to sell to Malaysians but also to an international customer base? Or what if you don't want to sell to Malaysians at all but want to sell to a global market instead? Which is the better option? Is it EasyStore or is it Shopify? And how do they differ in terms of the feature sets that help you to accommodate this need? So in terms of selling internationally, I found that working with clients who have had stores on EasyStore and Shopify, that most of the time store owners on EasyStore will come across some limitations when their e-commerce store grows, or they find that their international clients want a different payment method, for example, or they want to add very special speech features that some customers overseas are used to that are not available inside EasyStore. So while EasyStore has all the basic components for an e-commerce website, and they can definitely accept payments through local payment gateways for international credit cards, there are some payment options that Shopify integrates with natively that are not available in EasyStore. So if you have a primarily international audience, I would say that Shopify has more apps and more payment gateways that can support you not only now when you're just starting out, but as you scale along the way. For business owners who are looking mainly to sell internationally, Shopify is the better option. Now that we've looked at the key differences between selling on EasyStore and selling on Shopify, the question is, which one should you go for your business? Now, if you ask me, I think it depends on two things. The first is, what type of store do you have? And second is, who are you selling to? So if you have a pretty standard store where you're selling physical products, a bag, a bottle, where somebody lands on your site, buys an item, pays, and you ship it out, and your customers are mainly Malaysians, I think that EasyStore is a great choice. It's very affordable for Malaysians. They have local customer support. They have channels to support the Malaysian customer behavior, and they have a lot of very localized apps that can help you to grow your business here. On the other hand, if you have a non-conventional business model, for example, instead of selling products, maybe you're selling customized cake or some customized baked goods with a lot of customization features and a lot of delivery options, I would highly recommend that check EasyStore to make sure that it supports all the order flows that you want. Because if you get started on EasyStore and you find out later on that the core features plus the apps don't support your order flows, then you're faced with a very difficult choice of either one, to hire a developer to help you to custom build all of these features into your EasyStore, which is going to cost a lot of money, or two, move away from EasyStore to a platform like Shopify, which isn't as pricey but can be quite time consuming. And if you already have customers on your EasyStore, then the move can make them quite uncomfortable. Third, if you have a primarily international audience, then it's very important for you to just check and see if you can get everything you want on EasyStore. Otherwise, I think it's much safer to just go with Shopify. Shopify supports a lot of internationally targeted e-commerce businesses and is very likely to support you in the short term as well as the very long term. So that's it for my review on what's the difference between selling on EasyStore and selling on Shopify. I hope that this review has helped you in some way to make a decision on whether to sell on EasyStore or to sell on Shopify. There are always going to be pros and cons to selling on any platform. What's important is for you to know the weaknesses and strengths of each platform and find the one that suits your needs right now. If you have any questions about EasyStore or Shopify or differences between them, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you've liked this video, Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you again in my next video. Thanks so much for watching, and see you again soon. Bye bye.